Thinking abundance, visualizing prosperity will open up the mind and set the thought currents toward increasing supply. We are so made that about all we get in life is the reflex of what first flows out from us. Whatever thought you send out will draw to you in the material world a corresponding reality. Every human being is a magnet, the attractive power of which may be developed in any desired direction. Each one can so direct this power that he can draw to himself whatever he wills. Before your life can be really effective, you must make yourself a magnet for the things that will make it so. You must learn how to attract, how to draw to yourself all that will help you to succeed in your work, that will enable you to attain your ambitions. If poverty is holding you down, you can conquer it by making yourself a prosperity magnet. We are living in the midst of a stream of inexhaustible supply. It is one's own fault if he does not take from this stream whatever he needs. What we get in life, we get by the law of attraction. Like attracts like. Whatever you may have managed to get together in this world, you have attracted by your mentality. You may say that you have earned these things, that you have bought them with your salary, the fruit of your endeavor. True, but your thought preceded your endeavor. Your mental plan went before your achievement. The mere changing of your mental attitude will very soon begin to change conditions. Your decision to face toward prosperity hereafter, to cultivate it, to make yourself a prosperity magnet, will tend to draw to you the things that will satisfy your ambition. The text, "He that hath a bountiful eye shall be blessed," is the expression of a fundamental truth. The pictures you make in your mind's eye, the thoughts you harbor are day by day building your outward conditions. They are the real forces working ceaselessly in the unseen, and the more you think and visualize favorable conditions, the more you increase your power to realize them. You make yourself a magnet for the thing you desire. This is a psychological law. If you want to become a prosperity magnet, you must not only think prosperity, but you must also turn your back resolutely on poverty. Begin today. Don't wait for tomorrow or next day. If you don't look prosperous, assume a prosperous appearance. Dress as far as possible like a prosperous man or woman. Walk like one. Act like one. Think in terms of prosperity. A mental healer could not cure a cancer by holding in his mind a picture of the hideous disease with all its horrible appearances and symptoms. He must eliminate all this from his mind. He must see his patient whole, healthy, clean, just as God intended him to be, free from all disease. He must picture to himself the ideal man and declare his divinity. The same thing is true in curing yourself of poverty. You cannot do this as long as you hold poverty-stricken conditions in your mind. If you want to be prosperous, you must hold the prosperous thought, the prosperous picture in your mind. You must refuse to see or recognize poverty. You must not acknowledge it in your manner. You must erase all marks of it, not only from your mental attitude, but as far as possible from your appearance. If you are not able to wear fine clothes at first, or to live in a fine house, you can radiate the hope and expectancy of the glorious inheritance which is your birthright, and everything about you will reflect this light. Prosperity begins in the mind. You must lay its foundations in your thoughts. Surround yourself with a prosperity atmosphere. In other words, you will build into your environment, into your life, whatever dwells in your mind. We hear of some people that they are always lucky. Everything seems to come their way. Things come their way because there are invisible thought forces radiating from their minds toward the goal they have set for themselves. Things fall in line and come our way just in proportion to the force and velocity of the thought forces we project. Thinking better things might be called the first aid to the poor. To picture yourself as prosperous, living in a comfortable home, wearing good clothes, surrounded with the refinements of life, in a position to do your best work and the service of mankind, this is to put yourself into the current that runs successward. It is a strange thing that most of us believe the Creator will help us in everything but our financial troubles. We seem to think that it is in some way almost sacrilegious to call upon Him for money to meet our needs. We may ask for comfort, for solace in our afflictions. for the assuaging of our griefs and the healing of our diseases. But to implore God to help us to pay the rent, to pay off the mortgage on the home or the farm, does not seem quite right. Yet we know perfectly well that every mouthful of food we eat, the material for the clothing we wear and for the houses we live in, every breath we breathe must come from this divine source of infinite supply. If the sun were to be blotted out or to cease to send its magic rays to the earth, in a few days there would not be a single living thing on the globe. Not a human being, not an animal could exist without it. Not a tree, not a plant, not a flower, no fruits, no vegetables, no grass, nothing green. No vegetable life would be possible. Without the sun's energizing power, all life would cease on this planet. It would be as cold, barren, and lifeless as on the moon. The Creator is the builder and provider of the universe. Everything we have comes from Him, and without the supply which flows from His abundance, we could not live a single instant. And why should we not look to this great source for our money supply? The truth is, we were all intended to live the life abundant. The Creator never meant His children to grovel in poverty, to spend their lives in drudgery and uncertainty. They have a right to their inheritance of all that is good and beautiful, all that is needful for their welfare. We were not intended to live in the pinched, starved, stunted lives of paupers. It is our own fault if we do. The door to opulence is open to every human being born into this world, and no one but himself can close that door. No human being can shut out the lowliest child that is born from his divine inheritance. The only real poverty is in the mind, and no one can control one's mind but himself. Never for a moment harbor the thought that anything can come to you but prosperity, for this is your birthright, and because it is, you should demand it. Instead of admitting poverty, say to yourself, I am in the midst of abundance. I lack nothing that I need because my Father is the infinite source. Turn your back on poverty. Make up your mind that you will never again have anything to do with it, that you will not encourage it by dwelling on and visualizing poverty suggestions. Face toward prosperity. Think of and plan for prosperous conditions. Struggle toward prosperity with all your might, and you will draw it to you. Suppose you are poor and live in a humble home. Just have a talk with your wife and children, and make up your minds that you will all focus on your objective, improved conditions, that you will face the other way, toward prosperity instead of poverty. Say to yourself, it is a shame for God's children to exhibit such a pauperized appearance. It is a reflection on my Father, Mother God, to go about among my fellows looking as though everything had gone wrong with me, as though I were disappointed with life. This is ungrateful. I can at least show gratitude for health, for the privilege of living in God's pure air and sunlight by holding up my head and walking erectly, joyously, as His child should. I am really insulting the Creator to whom I pray by reflecting such despair and degrading poverty in my mental attitude, thus erasing the divine image from my face. No matter how little I have, I can at least appear respectable. I can show that I respect myself by doing away, as far as possible, with the depressing appearance and influence of poverty. Tidy up your home and make it as neat and cheerful as possible. Do the same with your dress and general appearance. Keep yourself better groomed. Look up, brace up, brush up, struggle up. Surround yourself with an atmosphere of hopefulness and show everybody by the new light in your eyes, the light of hope and expectancy of better things, that there is a change in you. Your neighbors will notice. They will see a change in your home, in your wife, in your children. The change in the mental attitude of yourself and family through facing toward the light instead of darkness, toward hope instead of despair, will make a tremendous change in your whole outlook on life.